All right, big lad. All right, Scotty, mate. H here. Just want to say a huge congratulations. Wow. Wow. Just thinking back to 2014, that first Invictus Games, and I think one or two others since then. And 2017, a standout moment for me was when your leg broke, your running blade broke, and you carried on. You didn't let it stop you. You finished the race. You crossed the finish line. I think you even finished second place. That was such a true example of your spirit and your determination. Throughout your recovery process, you have never faltered. You have pushed through on every single element. And look at where you are now. You're now representing Team GB again, not for the first time, but this time for the first time, you're carrying our flag. That is huge. Huge respect, mate. Congrats. I hope you're really happy. I hope you can feel proud of where you've got to. And now all you need to do is smash the PBs, get a medal if you want, and most importantly, have fun. Everybody, all of us at Invictus are seriously proud of you. And I'm honoured to call you a mate. Well done you. You're a fantastic example to everybody. And your resilience means more now than it ever could be, ever could have done. So, yeah, go out there, show people what you're made of, and know that every single time you go out there and do what you do, you're inspiring so many other people. So thank you for being you. Cheers, mate.
The world often feels overwhelmed by difficult headlines, conflict, uncertainty, and stories of hardship that can sometimes make hope feel distant. But every now and then, a moment cuts through that noise and reminds people of the power of resilience, courage, and encouragement. That's exactly what happened when Prince Harry recorded a surprise video message to uplift someone who embodies determination in its purest form. The message wasn't about royal ceremonies or formal duties. Instead, it was deeply personal, heartfelt, and rooted in something far more powerful than titles, the human spirit. The message was directed to Scott Meenagh, a man whose life story is nothing short of extraordinary. For those who follow adaptive sports and veteran communities, Meenagh's name represents perseverance. His journey from a promising rugby player to a soldier and eventually to an elite para-Nordic skier reflects the kind of resilience that inspires people around the world. And it's precisely that spirit that Prince Harry wanted to celebrate. In the short video message, the Duke of Sussex greeted Meenagh in his usual casual, friendly style. Instead of sounding formal or distant, Harry spoke like someone cheering on a teammate. "All right, big lad. All right, Scotty mate. H here," he began warmly, immediately setting the tone for what would become an emotional moment of encouragement. His words carried enthusiasm and genuine admiration as he congratulated Meenagh on a huge milestone, being selected to carry the British flag at the upcoming Winter Games in Milan-Cortina. To many people, being chosen as a flag bearer at an international sporting event is a massive honour. It symbolises not only personal achievement, but also the trust and pride of an entire nation. For Meenagh, that recognition represents years of determination, discipline, and recovery after life-changing circumstances. Prince Harry made sure to emphasise exactly how meaningful that moment was. "You're carrying our flag. Wow, that is huge," Harry said in the message, repeating the word huge with clear excitement. It wasn't the kind of scripted praise that sometimes accompanies official statements. It sounded spontaneous, genuine, and full of respect for what Meenagh had accomplished. Harry congratulated him again and encouraged him to embrace the moment fully, telling him he deserved to feel proud of how far he had come. The connection between Prince Harry and Scott Meenagh goes back years, particularly through the Invictus Games. The Invictus Games, created by Harry in 2014, were designed to support wounded, injured and sick service personnel through sport. The event has grown into one of the most inspiring global sporting competitions, bringing together competitors who refuse to let adversity define their lives. For Meenagh, the Invictus Games played a crucial role in his recovery and transformation as an athlete, and Harry clearly remembers those early days vividly. In his video message, the Duke reflected on the very first Invictus Games held in London in 2014, a groundbreaking event that introduced the world to the incredible resilience of wounded veterans. Just thinking back to 2014, that first Invictus Games, Harry said, recalling a particular moment that stuck with him over the years. It wasn't just a highlight from a race or a medal ceremony. Instead, it was a powerful demonstration of determination that perfectly captured the spirit of the Games. During one of the competitions, Meenagh experienced a setback that would have caused many athletes to stop immediately. His running blade, an essential prosthetic component used by many para-athletes, broke during the race. In most situations, that would signal the end of the event for a competitor. But Meenagh refused to quit. Prince Harry remembered the moment clearly. He described how Meenagh continued running despite the broken blade, pushing forward through the challenge and refusing to abandon the race. The determination he showed left a lasting impression not only on spectators but also on Harry himself. "You carried on," Harry said. "You didn't let it stop you." That decision to keep moving forward despite the obstacle became a symbol of resilience. Meenagh finished the race and crossed the finish line anyway. In fact, according to Harry's recollection, he may have even finished in second place, but the position hardly mattered compared to the message his perseverance sent to everyone watching. Moments like that define what the Invictus Games are all about. They remind people that sport is not always about victory on the scoreboard. Sometimes the most powerful victories are simply about refusing to give up. Scott Meenagh's journey to that moment was already remarkable, long before he reached the Invictus track. As a young man, he was passionate about rugby and played competitively, representing the west of Scotland and even Scotland's under-18 team. His athletic future looked bright, and sport was clearly a central part of his life. But everything changed when he joined the British Army. At the age of just 21, while serving in Afghanistan, Meenagh stepped on an improvised explosive device. The explosion caused devastating injuries that ultimately resulted in the loss of his leg. For many people, such a moment could mark the end of physical ambition or competitive sport. The road to recovery is often long and emotionally demanding. But Meenagh refused to let the injury define the rest of his life. Instead, he channeled his competitive spirit into rehabilitation, eventually rediscovering sport through adaptive athletics. That journey brought him to the Invictus Games, where he would reconnect with the athlete within himself and discover a new purpose. Prince Harry has often spoken about the healing power of sport for injured service members. The Invictus Games were created with that very philosophy in mind, that competition, teamwork and personal goals can help restore confidence and identity after trauma. Watching athletes like Meenagh embrace that philosophy is exactly why Harry remains so passionate about the project. In the video message, the Duke made it clear that Meenagh's journey is a perfect example of what resilience truly looks like. "Throughout your recovery process, you have never faltered," Harry said, praising Meenagh's determination. "You have pushed through on every single element." Those words highlight something important. Recovery is rarely a straight line. For injured veterans and adaptive athletes, progress comes through countless small victories, learning to walk again, adapting to prosthetics, rebuilding physical strength, and rediscovering confidence. Meenagh's story reflects all of those stages. From the trauma of injury to the challenge of rehabilitation and eventually to the triumph of competing internationally, every step required determination. Today, Meenagh competes in paranordic skiing, one of the most physically demanding winter sports. The discipline requires endurance, technical skill, and extraordinary mental strength. Training for such competitions involves grueling preparation, particularly for athletes adapting to prosthetics and specialized equipment. Prince Harry acknowledged just how far Meenagh has come. Looking back on the Invictus Games and forward toward the Winter Games in Milan-Cortina, he expressed admiration for the progress Meenagh has made. "Look at where you are now," Harry said proudly. That statement carried more weight than it might seem at first glance. It's a recognition of a journey that began with tragedy but evolved into something inspiring. As Harry continued his message, he offered a final set of words that perfectly captured the spirit of encouragement he wanted to send. "Go out there," he told Meenagh. "Show people what you're made of." It was the kind of advice that resonates far beyond a single athlete. Whether someone is competing in international sport or simply navigating life's challenges, those words carry universal meaning. Harry reminded Meenagh that every time he competes, he's inspiring countless other people, particularly fellow veterans and individuals facing their own struggles. The visibility of athletes like Meenagh helps others believe that recovery and achievement are possible. "So, thank you for being you," Harry concluded. At the end of the video, the Duke gave a small salute, a gesture that carried both military respect and personal admiration. Meenagh, who had been smiling throughout the message, clearly appreciated the encouragement. Moments like this highlight something that often gets lost in the noise of public debate about royal figures. Beyond the headlines and controversies, there are still genuine connections being made through initiatives like the Invictus Games. For Prince Harry, supporting veterans and wounded service members has remained one of the most consistent missions of his public life. His own military service in Afghanistan shaped his understanding of the sacrifices made by soldiers and their families. The Invictus Games were born from that experience. Inspired by the Warrior Games in the United States, Harry envisioned an international competition that could unite wounded veterans from around the world through sport. Since its launch in 2014, the event has grown dramatically, hosting thousands of competitors from dozens of countries. Each participant brings a story of resilience and determination. Athletes like Scott Meenagh represent exactly what the Games aim to celebrate: individuals who refuse to let adversity define their limits. And that's why Harry's message resonated so strongly. It wasn't just about cheering on a single competitor. It was about recognizing the courage it takes to rebuild life after trauma. For many viewers who saw the clip, the exchange felt refreshingly genuine. There were no elaborate speeches or ceremonial language. Instead, there was a simple conversation between two people connected by shared respect. That authenticity is part of what has made the Invictus Games community so powerful. Competitors, supporters and organisers often describe the event as more than just a sporting competition. It's a network of encouragement and understanding. When Prince Harry praised Meenagh as a fantastic example to everybody, he wasn't exaggerating. Stories like Meenagh's have the power to shift perspectives about disability, recovery, and human potential. They remind people that setbacks do not have to define the rest of a person's life. In fact, some of the most inspiring achievements emerge from moments when individuals decide to keep moving forward despite overwhelming obstacles. Scott Meenagh, stepping onto the international stage as a para-Nordic skier, is proof of that idea. Every race he competes in represents years of dedication and determination. And as he prepares for the Winter Games in Milan-Cortina, the support he receives from teammates, supporters, and figures like Prince Harry serves as a reminder that his journey has already inspired many. Whether he wins a medal or not, the impact of his story extends far beyond the finish line. Because sometimes the most important victory is simply proving that resilience is stronger than adversity.